Hello, the wonderful matrix. Welcome to Educate. Let us do the causes of river capture. So in our previous video, we've already talked about how river capture occurs and the diagrams that they may use to represent river capture in most of your exams. Now we're just going to look at what causes one stream to steal the waters of the other stream, of course. What causes river capture? So we'll look at this diagram as a reference for our river capture. Remember, we've got a captor stream as well as a captured stream, as well as a misfit stream, and all of those. So we're going to look at the causes. We're going to also look at how river capture occurs, as well as the characteristics of the stream after river capture. So now here you have got, in this case, this is your captor stream. So this has to be your captor stream, because it is the one that is eroding through the watershed. We've already done an activity on how to identify the captor stream as well as the captured stream. And then this has to be the captured stream, the one that will be captured, or the one whose waters will be taken away by the captor stream. So this is the captured stream. So what are the causes? What actually causes the captor stream to steal the waters of the captured stream? Now, the first reason is there is a steeper gradient on the side of the energetic stream of the watershed. So basically, remember that if we have got a watershed that is separating two rivers, that is the captured stream as well as the captor stream, on one side there is a steeper gradient. So remember that a steeper gradient promotes headward erosion. So if we have got a steeper gradient on this side of the captor stream, remember that the captor stream, it is a more energetic river. So if there is a steeper gradient on each side of the watershed, let's just say this is your watershed here. This is your watershed. They usually like to draw something like this as the watershed. So this is your watershed. Let's just say the more energetic stream, or the captor stream, it is at this point. In this case, it is A for this diagram. And then the less energetic stream, the captured stream, it is on that side. So the fact that on this side of the watershed, there is a steeper gradient. There is a what? There is a steeper gradient on the side of the more energetic stream of the watershed. So this steeper gradient will cause this stream A, to erode. You can see that it's eroding headwards through this watershed, causing it to steal the waters of the captured stream. The other reason, the low-lying stream has got more energy. So if it happens that the captor stream, it is in a lower lying area than the captured stream, as in like the captor stream, it is lower than the captured stream, then the captor stream will be able to erode headwards through the watershed so that it can reach the captured stream. So in essence here, if the more energetic stream is in a lower lying area, it is able to erode upstream, because remember that headward erosion, it occurs when a river erodes backwards, or it is eroding towards its source upstream. So if it is in a lower lying area, if river A is in a lower lying area, it's able to erode upstream and cause the watershed to change its position such that it's able to steal the waters of river B. So the lower lying stream has got more energy. The other cause, there is a higher precipitation giving a greater runoff, more erosion to the energetic stream. So if it happens that there's a lot of rainfall on the energetic stream, let's just say there's a higher precipitation. Just assume that it's a rainy area on the side of the captor stream. So since it's a rainy area, this river will have a bigger volume of water, a larger volume of water. It will have more water in it. So the more water it has, remember that the higher precipitation, or the amount of precipitation, affects the runoff. So in this case, if there is a higher precipitation, there will be a greater surface runoff at the more energetic stream. And the more there is a runoff, there will be more erosion, because now more water will be in the stream, such that the river has got more erosive power to erode through the watershed. the Keptor stream to erode through the watershed so that it could go and steal the waters of River B. So higher precipitation also causes river capture to occur. And lastly, there are softer rocks. So the last point, the softer rocks causes a faster erosion. Remember, we said last time on our video introducing this, we said that basically what causes headward erosion is when we have got softer rock. So whenever we have got less resistant rock or softer rock, there will be more headward erosion. So if we have got softer rock, let's just say this is our watershed. This is our watershed. And then on this side, we have got a more energetic stream. In that case, it is A. We have got a more energetic stream. And then on the other side, we have got stream B, the less energetic one. So now we are going to assume that this side here, this side of the more energetic stream, has got layers of softer rock. So if there are layers of softer rock, then this more energetic stream that is flowing on this side, which is stream A in this particular case, it will be able to erode backwards through the softer rock, causing this watershed to obstruct, causing the watershed to just fall off. So this A erodes through the watershed so that it can steal the waters of River B. So these are some of the causes of river capture that you can look out for. Now, how does river capture occur? If they just give you maybe a 3 marks question, it's not something usual to get a 3 marks question in geography, but okay, I don't know, however, marking criteria that they can use. How does river capture occur? How do you explain how river capture occurs? First point, you have got the more energetic stream that is eroding backward at its source, or you can say there is headward erosion at the more energetic stream. So the first process here, we have a more energetic stream and it is eroding backwards at its source. So just like here, stream A, it is actually moving in that direction. This is the direction of the stream, but it is eroding backwards. That's headward erosion. We've already talked about this in the previous video. Make sure that you check it out first before you attempt this one. So it is eroding headwards, or it is eroding backwards. So we can say backward, or you can say headward. So it is eroding opposite to its direction of flow, because the actual stream is flowing in this blue arrow direction, but it is eroding in the opposite direction through the watershed. And then now the headward erosion through the watershed will result in obstruction. So there will be an obstruction of the watershed. Remember that when you say there's an obstruction, at some point the watershed, it is a very big higher lying area that is separating two rivers. But because one river is more energetic, or maybe there are layers of softer rock and all those causes that we did, then the position of the watershed will be abstracted, or it will be shifted. So you'll end up finding out that you'll have a lower watershed. You'll have a lower watershed, something like this. So it was this big, but now it is this small. It's because the watershed has gone through obstruction, headward erosion by the Keptor stream, or by the more energetic stream. It has caused the watershed to shift its position, and it has caused the watershed to be lowered such that the river eroded through the watershed. So now the energetic stream will capture the waters of the less energetic stream. So you're explaining how does a river capture? Okay, we have got a more energetic stream, or otherwise you can say we have a Keptor stream here. You can say the Keptor stream, or the more energetic stream, erodes backwards or headwards at its source. And then headward erosion, this headward erosion, it is through the watershed. Okay, so as it erodes through the watershed, it shifts the position of the watershed and lowers it. That is known as obstruction. So you can just say it in shorter terms. Headward erosion through the watershed will result in obstruction of the watershed. And then when the watershed is lowered its position, when the watershed is lowered its position to something like this, you can see now it's a smaller watershed, then you can see that the river has captured the other river. I mean, the more energetic stream has captured the less energetic one. So this is how river capture occurs. Now, what are the characteristics now of the streams after river capture? Let us assume now river capture has occurred. We have got our streams here. So now we're going to look at this diagram after river capture, this one. So we're going to look at how do the streams behave after river capture. Remember that this is our capture stream. This is our capture stream. So this is our capture stream. It has stolen the waters of the captured stream. And then we have got here our misfit stream. This is a misfit stream. So this is a captured stream. This is our captured. And then this one in red is our captor. It is the one that captured. It is the one that did the stealing of the waters. And then this D is a misfit stream. And then the space between them, C, is a wind gap. I'm sure you remember all these labels as for our previous video. I'll link it in the comments. So now, what are the characteristics of each stream after river capture? Let's first look at the captor stream. The captor stream, remember, it is the one that has stolen water from the captured stream. So the very first point that you can mention is that the volume of water at the captor stream will increase. Why is the volume of water at the captor stream increasing? It is because it is now getting more water since it has stolen the waters of the captured stream. You can see that here at first the captured stream was just flowing in this direction, quietly, peacefully flowing in that direction. But because the capture stream has eroded through the watershed and was able to reach the captured stream, it was able to steal its waters such that the captured stream's waters were starting to flow towards the capture stream, were starting to flow towards the more energetic river. So the volume of water, or the amount of water, or how much water it is in the capture stream will increase. Why is it increasing? Because it is now getting water from the captured stream. It has stolen the water from the captured stream. So that is the very first point that you can mention. There is more downward erosion. Remember, when you've got a greater volume of water, it actually promotes downward erosion. I've introduced downward erosion or vertical erosion as well as lateral erosion in my river profile video. I'll also link that in the description. So now the downward erosion, remember, basically you have got a river, and then now we have said that the captured stream has got a larger volume of water. So there is more water getting into the captured stream such that the water will erode, cutting downwards. It will erode and cuts downward, making the valleys to be more deeper. So downward erosion occurs at the capture stream after the river capture or after the stream piracy. And then the carrying capacity will also increase. So the carrying capacity of the river will increase. Basically, carrying capacity, it is the ability of a river to carry eroded material. It can only carry eroded material when it's got a larger volume of water as well as a greater speed or a greater velocity. So when this river gains a larger volume of water, it will have a bigger ability to carry more eroded material, to erode and carry more eroded material. So basically the carrying capacity tells you, is the river able to carry, is the river able to do what? To carry the eroded materials. So this capture stream will be able to carry more eroded materials because it has got now a larger volume of water. It is now a what? A larger volume of water. Since it has stolen the waters of the captured stream, it is a larger volume of water and can carry more eroded materials. Hence, the carrying capacity of the river increases. Then the river also rejuvenates. We're still going to be brief about rejuvenation, but basically when you say that river rejuvenates, that just means that it gains more erosive power. The river is able to erode vertically. So this downward erosion increases is also the same thing as saying that the river rejuvenates, but write all of the points, you will get marks for each. So river rejuvenates, the river will have more strength. This capture stream that has stolen the waters of the captured stream will have more strength to erode and erode and erode again. And then let us look at the misfit stream. D. This misfit stream, remember, the first thing, it has lost its water because this misfit stream actually came from the captured stream. Because at first, remember that the captured stream, it was flowing peacefully. This blue one, which I'm highlighting, stream B is the captured stream. It was flowing downwards here, peacefully flowing in this direction. That is the what? That is the captured stream. But after river capture, its waters were diverged, or its waters were stolen to move in another different direction. To move in what? In another different direction towards the more energetic river. Now, the remaining part of the captured stream is the misfit stream. Because it was flowing in this direction, there will be a remaining smaller stream here known as a misfit stream. So the misfit stream, the first thing, it has lost its water. That's the first thing. The volume of water decreases. Okay, so at the misfit stream, we definitely know that there has been a loss of water. So the first point that you can mention is that the volume of water at the misfit stream decreases because now the waters have now been stolen and they are now moving in the direction, in the what? In the direction of the capital stream. So basically the misfit stream has got a lower volume of water. The volume of water decreases. The other thing, the stream will be too small. The stream will be too small for the channel valley. So remember that, let's just assume that the captured stream had this as the stream channel, basically. So let's just assume this was our captured stream and it was flowing here. It was flowing here. It was flowing here initially. But now the misfit stream, it will continue having the same river channel, but because it has lost its water, do you realize that it will have less water flowing because now the water is now moving in a different direction. The water has been stolen by the capital stream. So do you realize that the misfit stream, which is just the remaining part that has lost its water, will be too small for its channel, because you can see that the channel is wide, the river channel or the sides of the river are open. It's a bigger valley, but the water in the river is few. Okay, I don't know if it's the right English, but it's a bigger valley, but the water in the river is less. So it has lost its water. The misfit stream will be very small for its channel, or it will be very small for its valley. I'll just drop down an image and you'll see perfectly how the misfit stream will look like. It's more like it's a dry river or something like that. And then deposition of the stream load will occur as well. So there will be more deposition of the load of the stream. Remember that deposition is promoted by a river which has got less volume of water. Erosion is promoted by a river that has got more water in it, but deposition, it is promoted by a river that has got less water in it. So since the misfit stream has lost its water, it doesn't have a bigger carrying capacity anymore. It doesn't have a bigger carrying capacity anymore, and it doesn't have that big velocity or that big speed. So it ends up just depositing and dumping down all its eroded materials. Watch my video on the river profile. I emphasize again so that you understand how deposition occurs, but basically there will be deposition at the misfit stream. And then the water erosion will be reduced as well. So there will be less water erosion, but wind erosion will increase. So basically, remember, we've said that for water to be able to erode materials from the ground, it must have a larger volume of water. If it has got a lower volume of water, or the volume of water or the amount of water in the stream decreases, it has got less erosive power. It is not able to erode and cut more materials from the ground. So here the water erosion is reduced. Why is the water erosion reduced? It is because now this stream doesn't have more volume of water. This stream is now doing more deposition, but the wind will continue to erode, because remember that the wind actually erodes the soil. So if we have got just an empty river here, let's just say we have an empty channel and there's less water in it, so there will be more wind to erode the materials. So umoya will be the one that will be eroding the materials, but the water's erosive power will be reduced because there is now less water to do the work of erosion. I hope we get each other, Matrix. and then the carrying capacity is reduced. You see, these points are very interlinked. Remember, I've said the carrying capacity, it is the ability of a river to carry eroded materials. That is the ability of a river to transport or to carry sediments or things that are coming from the ground that have been digged up from the ground, such as stones and pebbles and traction load and all that. So now, a misfit stream does not have a larger volume of water. There is less erosion there, so it will not be able to carry a lot of a lot of sediments and eroded materials. So that's why there is more deposition there, because the carrying capacity is reduced. But these two, you write them as independent points. You do not mix them and say that there is a carrying capacity is reduced and deposition, or you can say causing deposition of stream load to. Okay, no, don't do that. In geography, you separate the points even if they are interlinked. Each point is 2 marks in those 8 marks paragraphs question. Here, you would say carrying capacity is reduced. Full stop. That is 2 marks to just say the carrying capacity of the river is reduced, meaning that the river is not able to carry more eroded materials. And then full stop. And then now you write another statement. Deposition will occur. You already know that the deposition is caused by the ability of the river not to carry that much, so it will just dump the materials. Gentlemen, for watching this video, don't forget to subscribe, tell your friends to stay tuned.